Hello and welcome. I am live from Pellam's Wasteland, and today I have another episode of Pellam's Wasteland Reads for you all. This time covering two books by Peter Vansittart. And I guess it's going to be more of a recommendation of an author than of any particular book. Um, the Tournament by Peter Vansittart is a book that I read last year. I think I talked a little bit about it in my video on some favorites from 2024, um, but I don't think I have done anything specifically about Vansittart in any greater detail about him as an author. And A Safe Conduct is a book that I just read a couple weeks ago, and I liked it a lot. And I thought I would talk about um, this particular book and also about Vansittart as a sort of as a whole, I guess you might say, because I've now read three of his books and I liked all of them a whole lot. The first one that I read was called The Wall and is about the Aurelian walls around Rome. Um, and then The Tournament, and then A Safe Conduct. And Vansittart has very a very small following, I guess, at least in modern day. Seems like a classic case of an author who had some attention for a while, and then looking at his page on Goodreads, his most rated book is Voices from the Great War, which is, I think, a collection of um, other people's kind of writings and stuff, a sort of attempt to get at the Great War, basically World War One, from the sort of perspective of all of these other materials assembled and edited and put together, mostly more by him than directly written. And that has 24 ratings, and then everything else is lower than that. So, really, an author who, unfortunately, um, has not gotten very much attention in the modern day, it seems like. And really, in my opinion, deserves a lot more attention because writes these really, really excellent historical fictions that are um, really kind of brilliantly capture all of these sort of different subtle cultural elements. He has a really um, great ability to write these kind of sequences that are not really sort of pure dialogue or pure description or anything, but are sort of reflective of the kind of continual cultural chatter that is going on in whatever setting is being gotten at, and have this sort of this kind of wonderful blend of hearsay and fact and kind of cultural expectation and all of these different things going on in a way that is really just so well done. It's really impressive to read, I think, as someone who is interested in this kind of historical fiction as literature rather than just kind of pulpy fun to read stuff but that doesn't stick with you. And A Safe Conduct, the third one of his that I've read, is definitely like that. It is definitely historical fiction as literature. It is interestingly enough sort of thematically and related in its setting to some of the other stuff that I've been reading, The Summer of Fire and Blood, and all of that, of this material of um, basically southern Germany in the period leading up to the Reformation. Um, this period, this kind of cultural struggle between the different groups. The A Safe Conduct largely follows this kind of peasant revolt, essentially a small peasant revolt, but it is mixed in with the sort of cultural milieu of all the things that are going on here. There's even a great little detail of a sort of prophecy or fortune telling that has to do with a miner's son who will cause all of these strife and chaos in the future, and that's referring to Martin Luther. Um, and it is this sort of brilliant and kaleidoscopic look at this one very kind of strange historical event. This I hesitate to even say revolt because it's not really. It's a sort of civil disobedience, you might say. There's a group of children from this village who gather together and imagine that they're going to start a sort of utopian alternate society, rather than working in the village as they have. And it is this um, kind of presentation of their ideals and wishes and how they see the world, but also all these other characters, the nobility and all these figures of power who live in the castle, who rule over this particular territory and are themselves beset by unfulfilled ideals and have all of their own struggles of attempting to kind of understand the world around them, even though they're kind of advantaged in a number of ways. And it becomes this very kind of strange blend of all of these different things, this is sort of immersion in a historical period, or an imagined version of this historical event, that is just fascinating and wonderful and absolutely incredibly done. That's, I think, a core part of why I like these books so much, is that I think Vansittart is a really talented author, when you get down to like just reading his sentences, that there are so many fun things to read mixed together in this kind of strange blend of influences, and this sort of attempt to do something with the mysteries of history, that is so much fun to read. And it's fun to read in all of these different forms. I will say, the three Vansittart books that I have read have all been. I guess the tournament is from a fairly similar kind of late medieval period. It's about the Duchy of Burgundy and a tournament there, but then also there's a plague that comes through, and there's all these um, kind of similar, this kind of presentation of the sort of cultural chatter of the masses almost, and rumor and strange kind of mythologically structured expectation and all of these fun things that come from that. So not as far historically as then The Wall, the third one, which is the first one that I read, but the third Vansittart book that I've been talking about, that is itself a very different um, period, but presented with this same real remarkable kind of lucidity and this very exacting vision of the complexity of history, that is, like I said, just so much fun to read. I really, really like these books. I think that you, reader of other books, should check out these books because they are really good. Peter Vansittart, just a absolute A plus author, super super fun to read, and like I said, really unfortunate that he seems to not have been read very much in the present day. A lot of his books are out of print, and they are not super expensive, but they're expensive enough to be annoying for somebody like me who's really interested in all of these. But they are just fascinating and wonderful and totally worth reading and rereading in their depth of the particular, like I said, this kind of vision of history, that is just so enthralling and wonderful to read about. So, anyway, a safe conduct. If you are interested in the famous children's revolt, as the blurb says, in late 15th century Germany, early 16th. I don't remember precisely the year, but there's a sort of millennial expectations going on. The tournament, if you're really interested in the late medieval Burgundy and this kind of vision of the sort of uh, last kind of high point of the medieval world. And the wall, if you are fascinated by the chaos of the later Roman Empire and the sort of attempt of Aurelian, the Restitutor Orbis, to impose sort of this Roman vision of stability on an empire that is consistently trying to tear itself apart. Um, all really excellent books, totally worth checking them out if you can find a copy. Even if you can find a copy for a little more expensive, I would say go for it, because these are great. Although don't buy any copies that I am trying to buy. Well, I have a couple of them now, so hopefully that wouldn't end up being an issue. But if it does, I will be disappointed. So anyway, Peter Vansittart, check his stuff out because it is great. But that is going to be all for me for today. Thank you so much for watching or listening. I've been live from Pellam's Wasteland, and I will see you next time. Take care, everybody.